This week on SailAway, I open up about all the difficulties aboard Ophelia that led us to this point, and what it almost meant for our cruising life. We still have all these things that we know we need to get done on this boat before we cross the Atlantic. The difficulty leading right up to us getting to Grenada last year, me being in the hospital, we were in a state of burnout at that point. As much as we go on about escaping normal was sounding pretty good. We also talk about our current headspace and what our plans are now. In the meantime, we're tearing apart a lot of stuff, but not putting a lot back together. So as you can see, the toilet is gone. If you can imagine, that wall being gone. But some improvements are already in place.
You're just making messes.
It's going to be a year of messes. It's fairly simple, he said.
110, 113, I'd say 5.
And how are you going to turn it off now? You've got it pointing at
It was hot.
And of course, lots of slices of regular family life aboard a big old boat in the Caribbean islands.
We're gonna make some banana bread. Banana bread time?
Banana bread!
Really, banana bread is just cake. Down home cooking. He's gone.
Killed him.
So meet me on that island, kiss me on that shore. Hey, promise me that we'll sail away, and I'll be yours forevermore.
Good morning, folks. How's everybody doing? It's been a while since I sat out here on the deck and just chatted y'all up. So, we've been in St. Martin for about a couple months now. We're really enjoying it here, and it's been a bit of a transition going from, a year and a half of kind of rushing around. We had so many reasons that we had to do certain things like this and get to other places because we had so many things to do to this boat and we had to be certain places in order to make that happen. So we found ourselves sailing all the way to the US, all the way back, getting down to Grenada in time so that we were there for hurricane season. Then we needed to rush all the way back up to the Virgin Islands because at the time we thought we were going to be taking jobs up there. And then when that didn't happen, our whole thing kind of changed because we still have all these things that we know we need to get done on this boat before we cross the Atlantic. And we know we don't have enough money to do them all like that. And we also know we're kind of tired. It's been so much traveling and so much rushing and so much trying to meet a schedule a certain way that the aspect of getting the jobs where we were just going to kind of settle down for a little bit was pretty attractive in and of itself. And so we decided we'd come here to St. Martin and maybe just do the same thing, look for jobs, settle down, work on the boat. But some things had kind of changed in our thinking by the time that we got to St. Martin. I think a lot of our interest in getting those jobs in the U.S. Virgin Islands, I think a lot of that stemmed from the difficulty leading right up to us getting to Grenada last year, me being in the hospital, and our difficulties with the generator and the ongoing issues, obviously, of the portside motor not running, being locked up, and how we were going to deal with that. I know we were in a state of burnout at that point, where all of this had kind of caught up to us, and when we got to Grenada, finally, it did feel like we had sort of made it to a safe place where we could just relax for a minute. And even then, we weren't because the generator was still giving us trouble for the first month we were there. And so I think the idea of settling down and having regular jobs in that moment in time was really attractive because as much as we go on about escaping normal was sounding pretty good. So you guys have seen the videos, and we got to St. Thomas, and the job wasn't as ideal as we expected it to be or hoped it would be, and so that didn't really work out, and we weren't that sad about it because by the time we got there, I think we had recovered a certain amount from all the stress of the previous year and a half. And the idea of being locked in there wasn't as appealing as it was before. Anyway, that's kind of something I wanted to catch up with you guys on, and our whole thinking and why we didn't do what we said we were going to do there. Now that we're in St. Martin, the need to continue to make some money so that we can do these projects is still a very big thing, but we also don't want to nail ourselves down because we want to be able to get out of here and go explore some of the closer areas to St. Martin that we haven't seen yet, including Dominica. We are going to go down to Grenada for a couple of months, and if something threatening is definitely going to be in our neighborhood, we can take off. But our plan right now is probably like August, September in Grenada. And this year, we are also committing to going to the boat show in Annapolis and taking part in the YouTube booth there again. And by then, we're talking about like almost the middle of October, which is when things are pretty calm by then, and most of it is popping up much farther out of our area than we need to be concerned with. So keeping our fingers crossed that that'll all go as smoothly as we think it will. But while we're here, kind of doing the obvious thing, which is just kind of doubling down on the things we already do to make money. I'm obviously an audiobook narrator, and in all the traveling and all the working on the boat, I haven't been able to maintain, and I haven't wanted to maintain, nearly as heavy of a schedule as I did when I lived on land. But when we don't have a travel itinerary and we don't have any place we're trying to go to or whatever, that's meant that I can thicken up my schedule quite a bit. I've been doing a lot more work, so that's been a huge boost. And we've been doubling down on the YouTube stuff by doing some of these equipment reviews of bikes and paddle boards and scooters and things like that. There's going to be a few more of those coming, and those are an extra source of income. There's a couple other things that we've also been working on that we're going to keep a little closer to the vest until we see how they pan out. But for those of you who have been asking, are we still getting jobs here in St. Martin? What are we doing? Basically what we're doing is doubling down on our current ways of making money and trying to capitalize on those and maximize them. So far, it's been working pretty well. We've also got all these other projects that are a lot to do with just kind of making this boat a nice home. A lot of these projects aren't as expensive either, so we can kind of start doing some of this stuff to elevate how Ophelia looks and feels. And then as we start making more money, we're going to start adding in the projects for the electric motors, which are much pricier. So far, I've mostly just been ripping things apart. These Salon doors driven me crazy from before we even owned the boat. So I got to go get the Plex to replace those windows. But in the meantime, I've got that torn apart. We're going to refinish all of that wood. We might be painting it, which that's something we're planning to do in a lot of places on the boat now. There's a lot of area inside this old boat that so much wood, so much vinyl, where the foam on the inside has gone bad, that we have decided we're going to sand and paint some areas and see how it comes out. So right now, we've just been ripping things apart and not putting them back together. But it's time to start putting some things back together. I do have to give myself a little bit of credit. There is one project that I have finished, and that is our water heater. But our water heater died on us. It sprung a leak. I'm trying to figure out where the leak was and see if there was any chance of welding it, fixing it, anything, and no, it was done. So that thing took a ride to the dumpster, and I had an idea that I've not seen done. Again, another experiment in efficiency and cost saving, and see if this is a good idea for a cruising boat. I think it is.
You're just making messes.
Yeah. It's going to be a year of messes, and then, damn, everything will be cleaned up. It'll be great. You won't care because you'll be refreshed with a hot shower. This is our new point of use water heater. Our big water heater, we had an 11-gallon in our port side. Used to be fed by the motor or generator or inverter, and it worked fine until it didn't. The problem with the big giant water heater is this is a pretty big boat with a lot of distance in the plumbing. So especially the way this is set up, our master suite is in the bow of the starboard hull and the water heater's in the stern of the port hull. So it's literally the farthest the water travels on the boat to get to the shower. So even when it was working, you'd have to either plan to run it or just run it while we were running the generator, and then we'd be like, oh hey, we got some hot water, let's take a shower. But it took several minutes of running any water to get any heat here. So I thought, why not try one of these bad boys? 2.5 gallons, about 1,500 watts, and you put it where you want it. And for us, the only place on the boat that we really care if we have hot water is in our bathroom. So we think it'll be efficient, and we think it will do the trick for what we need it to. 2.5 gallons is actually kind of a lot of hot water, and from what the reports are, these things heated up pretty hot. So anytime I have to worry about the plumbing on this boat, do anything to it, it kind of makes me groan, because not only is it this older plastic tubing, nobody uses these type of connections anymore. It's also European, I think. All I know is like you can't find fittings for this stuff in any hardware stores anywhere that I've found. And I'm not going to redo all the plumbing because it's all been pretty good for us so far. So anytime I need to do any kind of alterations, it requires me to stand in the hardware store and stare at all the stuff until I devise some way to do it. Admittedly, it's a little bit of a jerry-rig. High pressure hose, far more pressure than our little system is capable of putting out. It's like 200 psi or something, and we're way down below that. We've already found the line. It's in here, kind of the back. I'll show you closer in a minute. Cut that line, and then one of these will go on one side and one will go to the other. And this just slides down in that hose and gets a couple clamps on it. Biggest deal is, you know, the more fittings, the more chance there is for leaks and things like that. And then I just have a couple of sink service hoses that are 5/8, and those screw straight onto the top of the water heater and straight onto my little fittings. It's fairly simple, he said. I think it's just about time to turn off the water and cut some water supply lines. It always makes me nervous. Like a glove. All right. Well, like a lot of guys, I drastically overestimated the length of my hose. I did not give myself enough to really reach these water supply lines. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut a little bit longer ones so that I can have a little bit of extra play in these lines. There's no reason to be pulling them tight. Fast forward. Got her sliced. And so this is where the water's coming from, and this is it going up into the shower. All right, I'm gonna get in here, clamp these things up, and then we'll see what we've got. Everything is hooked up where it's supposed to be. Cold water coming in onto the right there, and then our hot water out. And that touches back there and goes up into the shower. Alright, well, I think we're getting a good enough place to turn on some water, see what happens. Can you have Mommy turn the water pressure on? What? Have Mommy turn on the water. I hear things. Got a leak right here. All right, can you turn it back off? Well, we have this thing installed. Chased a couple small leaks, nothing crazy once I really cranked down on the hose clamps, but sucker fits in there perfectly. So many things we do are just a big old experiment, and this is just another one. All right. I hear it doing things. Let's go see how much it's drawing. That's about what I expected. Drawing about 15 amps. So what time is it?
2:03.
Okay. You set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Siri. You're my personal Siri.
Okay.
All right, it's been 5 minutes. You want to actually get a temperature?
Yeah.
All right, our test subject is here. Go for it. See what happens.
It's cold. 87. Ooh, that was hot. 108, 109, 110, 113. I'd say it's hot.
Oh, I can feel it.
I'm like scared.
And how are you going to turn it off now? You've got it pointing.
Ah! It was hot. It was very hot.
Wow, like hot.
Yeah.
All right, we got hot water.
Yeah.
Are you so excited?
I am.
All right.
Rivers is out in a sailing class. We're gonna go try and sneak some video of him without distracting him.
Instead of standing here with the binoculars on our boat looking like total creepers.
Yeah. We'll go get in a dinghy with a camera.
Yeah.
Looking like total creepers.
Way better.
Let's go see if we can find him. Let's go see. Here's us spying on our child's first sailing lesson.
We must find a way to drink while spying on our child. This is literally all I've had.
I don't know where he went now, but alright. Okay, we'll go back to spying now.
Well, I've succeeded in tearing some things apart that I didn't do a great job of filming, so I'm going to catch you up real quick. Yeah, you might be saying, what am I looking at? It just looks like an empty bathroom. Yes, very empty because I'm about to tear some stuff apart. This is obviously the office / studio area, and this is the little spot where I do all of my audiobook recording. Obviously, I've made that work. Problem is, it's a very, very tight space, and it's gotten pretty hard on my back, sitting in there for hours in the cramped way that I have to sit. And that's the only chair we could get to fit in there, and it's a piece of crap. I just kind of soldiered on with what I have here, but the idea started brewing pretty fast that we don't need 4 heads on this boat. So I've been just systematically pulling everything out of here. So as you can see, the toilet is gone, and you can see the galley. So as you enter, here's the wall leading to the head. This is coming out on both sides. And then down here, it's kind of hard to see, but this is just like our other head, the one over in River's room. Maybe I'll go get a shot over there. Alright, so this is what the floor pan looks like in these. And you can see this the whole bathroom is like a big molded piece of fiberglass all the way down to this. And if you pull this up, there's just a sump down there, so because this was a wet head. So on the other side, this has got to be leveled so that it's even with this floor here. So this will have to be cut out. And then I'll have to come up with a way to support flooring so that I can put one piece of floor all the way across. So it's a smooth threshold here. So now, coming back to the real project. So if you can imagine that wall being gone, I'm going to keep the divider right here. Have a divider from this part down. Constant smooth floor all the way around here. So we'll have one piece of counter, desk, I guess I should say, that runs all the way across here, supported by this. And then over here, there will be a second level that's down just a couple inches, and it'll extend out to about here. And that will go all the way across. So as you walk in, you basically have sort of an L-shaped desk area here. And you have all this space where the chair, your office chair, can move around. So that's the plan. I've got all the junk out of here. My next big thing comes the destruction of all this wall. And if you hear, this is just like it's like a foam sandwich. So it's not really very structural at all. That's just one more area that I've torn apart, and now it sits waiting for me to get to the next part. So, soon! Hey, you finish up those dishes. The boys are gonna go have a little fun, get some exercise. Cool? Alright, cool. What time's dinner gonna be ready?
Yeah, I'll have your sandwich real soon.
Make me a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Rivers and I are going for a paddle.
Can we go to the beach?
I mean, it's a long paddle to the beach. You ready? No, this is trouble. This is trouble. Let's just go that way. Smooth, like butter. Pick up the pace, man. Okay.
Like jump in.
Okay.
Get in the water.
Okay. I understand. I'm familiar with the term.
Really?
Feel good?
Yeah. Get in. Wait, Dad, look at this. Show the camera.
It's a 360, all right. Hey, you could just be our port side motor. We'll just tie you on the stern, and you can kick. Then we won't have to get a new motor. I like this idea.
I'm not doing that.
Pain in the neck. It's a good technique. I like it. I did it!
We haven't started tearing apart the kitchen yet. So I think it's time to go through and just start making things with the food that's been sitting in our fridge for a little bit. Or just sitting on the counter, as the case may be. First up, we're gonna make some banana bread because these bananas are real ripe. Zeke, what do you think about banana bread? Does that sound good? Okay, cool. Rivers, what do you think about banana bread?
Good.
Yeah? Okay. Banana bread time?
Banana bread, and you're baking it in the oven.
Here's our just right bananas. And they usually add some other special things, and I think we have some of it. Rivers does not like walnuts, but we do have some cherries. So I think I'll put cherries, the maraschino cherries, and the chocolate chips. And it'll just be like cake, because really banana bread is just cake. It's my very well used banana bread recipe. If you would like it, just go to Pinterest, type in banana bread, click on the first one, hit skip to recipe. You're welcome. We've had this in some Grenada. Sure, they're fine. Can't really go bad, right? Yeah, it tastes fine. We have to keep the chocolate in the freezer, otherwise it melts real fast. I don't know if it's just my oven or me, but it takes at least like 20 minutes longer to bake this than it says it's supposed to. But yay, it's done! Banana bread's done. What's the next thing we're getting out of the fridge?
I don't know.
What are we having for dinner?
Burgers.
Yeah!
Oh, it's a trick question.
Do we want to try again? Banana bread's done. What's the next thing we're getting out of the freezer?
Burgers.
Alright!
Burger, banana bread, Wednesday.
Extravaganza! It's good old down home cooking tonight.
Burgers is a comfort night food with cucumbers.
That's a Caribbean thing though.
Yeah. Where was it that we first got cucumbers on a burger?
Carry-Q.
We've been kind of stuck on that ever since.
Yeah, the cucumbers are weird, but we found they don't really put lettuce on burgers. And the cucumber has the good crunch of the pickle, but the taste of the lettuce. It's a good medium. And then they're easy to find here, so that's probably more what it is that it's easy.
Drama.
He's gone.
Killed him.
Forever. No, the same drama. I need you to drop to the floor. Steve's like, what is going on?